Hello and welcome to the Other Team's Tunes Tuesday, a weekly series that discusses music and matters with queer artists you love. I'm your host, Maud Mosley. My pronouns are they, them, and joining me this week is Philadelphia-based singer-songwriter and producer, Arami. It is fantastic to have you here. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you. So, like you said, my name is Arami. Pronouns are she, her. I sing, songwrite, produce, do photography, audio engineering. I do a lot of musical things.
Yeah, so much. And I mean, when I was researching for this interview, I definitely realized just, how many different hats you wear. And I'm definitely hoping to talk about at least some of those things today. I definitely don't think we can get to all of them, but, we'll talk about some links where you can find the other work at the end of the interview. So to begin with kind of your musical journey, it's taken on many iterations, from being a part of different musical groups to then going solo and then working through different names before finding yourself now at Arami. How do you
Yeah.
think each of those like collaborations and iterations of your work have built on each other to get to you to where you are now?
I think that they all play a big role because, I still feel like I have parts of myself from when I first started making music. I have parts of myself from when I was still trying to figure out my sound. So it definitely, I feel like every part that I was in, all of my bandmates that I previously had, they all helped me shape who I am now. Even when I first started making music seriously at 16, I was in mostly all boy groups. Like I was the only girl. So it's like just having that really helped me shape my masculine side more. It's like basically I had brothers all my life. So it's like now I feel like I'm more in a feminine energy now, but I still am able to, come correct and be more assertive with things just because I've been around like men my whole life. So it's definitely shaped my music and this like how, I can be real cutesy, real adorable, but I can also make hip hop music, for the radio heads and all the people that just want to, bob their head a little bit.
Definitely. And I mean, I know, you do more solo work now, but it seems like even your solo work is fairly like rooted in collaboration and stuff. Do you feel like that kind of goes back to coming up in more of those group and band settings?
Definitely. I'm big on collaboration because I know, going by yourself, you go far, or you go fast, but going with others, you go far. So, I'm big on collaboration. Even as being a solo artist, I'm always asking my friends, like, do y'all want to hop on this? Or, I have a lot of musician friends. So I'm like, you want to play keys on this? You want to play bass on this? Because like, it'll be much better without just one head. So.
Yeah, that's really cool. I love hearing artists, speak to just so many different things that they get out of collaboration. How do you feel like you talk to like friends and kind of people around you, but what do you look for in like a good collaboration?
Someone that's open-minded, because I like to make experimental stuff too. So if you're like a person that just wants to do one sound, I mean, that's fine. I'll probably go to you when I want to do that particular thing. But I'm more so looking for people that's like, oh yeah, you want to make a funk record? Let's do it. You want to make an electronic record? Let's do it. I'm open to all different genre bendings and different sorts. So it's like usually someone that's open-minded. I do look for people that also kind of have their own original sound. Someone that I know that if I get them on the track, people will be like, oh, who's that? They won't think like, oh, this is maybe Cardi B or Nicki Minaj or, some other artist that's already known because they have their own distinct sound. So it's really just those two things, like open-mindedness and being original and really having a competitive but team working spirit as well. Because, you can't be with someone and then they're like, oh, I want to do it this way. And you're like, well, let me try and see if maybe we can do it another way. I need someone to say, okay, let's try your way. If that works, that works. And if not, it doesn't. So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And then speaking to that music that you're creating, your most recent single was See You Again, released in November of 2021. But prior to that, in 2019, you released a visual EP for your 2019 album, Cool Runnings, which featured, three songs from it. What
Mm-hmm.
inspired you to create that visual element to the piece?
I think honestly, it really helps when people see the face of, the music that they're listening to. Because people can listen to music and they'll be like, oh, this song is great. They sound amazing. But once you put a face to the artist, you get more of a connection towards them. So it's like, you see people when they start making music videos, they start getting more known. Because like, okay, you get to know more of the artist. People get to connect with them more. It's like, oh, okay, now I feel like I actually know them as opposed to just hearing their voice. So I really wanted to do something different for that album because that was my debut album. And it was also, me coming out as Arami. I was like, people need to see who I am now because who I was before, as my other artist names and aliases, I had longer hair. I was a little bit younger. I look a little different than I did before. So I was like, I definitely need people to see that change as opposed to just hearing it.
Yeah, it's really cool to hear that. And obviously, that visual component, takes us through so many different kinds of visuals. So what really inspired the look and feel and what you were trying to capture through it, other than, that really important piece of, showing up and showing yourself?
Yeah, I really just wanted to show like my day-to-day life with my friends, what we do. Like we're always just having fun and, just seeing things, exploring sites. And my friend Rico, one of the videographers, he's really great with color grading and just making things look really put together. And he made about 75% of that whole project come to life. So shout out to him. And also shout out to my friend Jonathan. He was also a part of it. He's a photographer, videographer, and he really is good with his editing skills. And I was just like, listen, we're just going to go to my friends' houses and we're going to go to places that I'm usually at and just, walk around, perform, see me rapping and singing. Like that's really all I wanted it to be. Even with like the scene where I was in the store, like the corner store, I'm always at Poppy stores, buying stuff and, just being at like the fire pit with my friends. That's one of my favorite things to do. So I just really wanted to capture like what I like to do, being in the car with my friends, remember there was just one scene where we just showed the bridge of the B-roll. It's just like, I love things like that. Like I just like being out and about with my friends. So I just really wanted to capture that. So yeah.
Yeah, I love capturing that sense of joy and also, similarly how much collaboration went into that project as it does with your music. That's really exciting to hear. And do you feel like, I understand that was kind of this like foray into that visual element with your debut album. So do you feel like there were any like key challenges when you were working on that?
I think definitely not having a car at that time because I shot those scenes in different areas. Some were in Philly, some were in New Jersey, different parts of Jersey. So it was like, dang, like how am I going to get around and do like this project? Because I had it in my brain for a minute, but I finally, got a couple of my friends. This is the greatness of collaboration. One of my friends had a car. He was like, I'll just, we can just drive around all day and shoot. So it was really just because of him that I was even able to do that. So shout out to Tristan, because I know he's probably going to see this.
Yeah, that is incredible, the ways that, people can show up for us and support us even when we don't necessarily know that they can. But, as people say, always just ask and you'll be amazed, what's at your fingertips. And then alongside your music, as of this January, you host the radio show Soulful Gems, which is just so cool. So what drew you to the radio format and what have you been able to like dive into or explore through it?
Yeah, so basically, my friend TJ, so I'm in a lot of different collaborations. I'm in a little couple different groups. And I have a girl group with my friends TJ, Maya, and Sensei. We're called Whole, and we're basically like an R&B rap girl group. We haven't released any songs yet, but we do have songs coming soon. So, I'm just putting that out there for everybody. That's an exclusive. But we basically went to this studio called Just Vibing Studios. It's a creative space where they have like a radio station. You can go there to practice. You can go there to, make music. And we went there one day to practice one of our songs. And the owner, he really liked us. And he was like, when are you guys coming back? Like we had went one time. And after that, our schedules got crazy. And we just hadn't been able to go after a couple of months had passed. And he kept hitting us up. What do I got to do to get y'all back? I want y'all back here. And we were like, I was like, I can do other things around there. Like it may not have to be just like me making music. If y'all need like a DJ or something, I can do that as well. And they were like, we need DJs. Like there's like we need radio engineers and people that know how to do it. And I was like, I do have a little bit experience in DJing. When I was younger, I would make playlists for my friends. And when my friend got me my DJ set, that was when I was like 18, 19, either for my 18th or 19th birthday, she bought me the actual controller. And after that, I would play around with it. And I have a little bit of experience. So I was like, I want to dive in deeper to that, because whenever I'm not doing like music or I'm not doing photography, there's always that creative itch. So I need something to replace it. So because I haven't been doing like music in a couple of months, I was like, I'm going to, focus my energy on this other craft that I have. So I was like, all right, cool, let's do it. When do y'all want me to start? And when they told me that I could start, I went in there and I started. That was it.
Yeah, I mean, amazing that there was just that like support there, and there's kind of this like history of experience that you had, but also just an area where you were willing to put yourself out there and try. So how has that been, going for you now that you've been doing it, not for very long, but for a little bit? What have you been having fun with? What's been a little bit harder? What have tell us a little bit more about the show itself, I guess.
Yeah, so it first started off as an ode to basically jazz music. If you know me, jazz music is like my life. Like I've always wanted to make jazz music like, Miles Davis, who else we got? Frank Sinatra, Robert Glasper. Like there's so many jazz artists that inspire me. So whenever I hear jazz music, I'm like, ooh, this is a great chord. Let me put that in my next song or something. So it basically started off as like a jazz thing, but as time progressed, I was like, I'm not just a jazz head. I like R&B music, I like soul music, I like blues, funk, pretty much anything, honestly. So I was like, let me just, incorporate more into that. And as things progressed, I started putting my friends' songs on there, and I really wanted it to be a community type of thing. If you've ever heard of Soul Election Radio, they really inspire me with Joe K and how they come together as a community. And, he posts his beats from his friends. He posts his songs from his friends. They do collaborations. I really want it to be that type of thing, but on the East Coast, because that's like a West Coast type of thing. So I wanted to bring it over here and just really make it a collaborative effort. And it's been going really good so far. I think one of the newest things that I started doing is mashups, where like I'll play one of my beats over someone else's vocals. And I think that has been so fun, because it's like, I've always wanted to do it, but I've never like even thought about how I would do it until starting a radio station. So I just been really having fun with it, making mashups, making remixes, transitions. Like it also helps when I do start making music again, because it's like I have more musical knowledge no matter what area or avenue that I'm pursuing. So it all works out.
Yeah, that's really exciting. And I love hearing about that because, over time, what we see as like mainstream radio has gotten so commercial, where if you're not kind of in the top 10, no one's going to hear you. No one's going to find you through radio. So seeing all these kind of, community based and community rooted like radio efforts start coming up, so that, more emerging artists, more artists that like deserve and like need and could really use the like radio play are getting that opportunity, because it's definitely something that's been missing. And I loved what you were sharing about it, starting as this like ode to jazz, because kind of going back to your most recent like single release, See You Again, the cover art for that in itself was also like an ode to, older jazz art.
That was exactly the whole point of it, because, I'm inspired by a lot of jazz musicians, like I told you. So I'm always trying to, slip it in there, whether it be in the song, the cover art, you're going to know that I love jazz music. So.
Yeah, I love that. Well, thank you so much for joining me this week on Tunes Tuesday. If you would like to check out any of the music, videos, if you'd like to follow along to get some news on that incredible sounding girl group that you're doing that will hopefully be releasing music soon, stay tuned at the links below. Check out Arami's work. Thank you again for being here, and Arami will be playing us out.
rose, I know.